GLC is now offering a free audio stream of our 24/7 broadcast that we're calling GLC Radio, an online radio station that broadcasts our round-the-clock audio stream on a variety of platforms. GLC Radio gives you the ability to listen to GLC virtually anywhere, through your home or office computer, or on the go with a mobile device. You can access GLC Radio through our website or by searching for God's Learning Channel through iTunes Internet Radio, TuneInRadio.com, or on Shoutcast.com. Explore various GLC Radio-enabled mobile apps by visiting our website at glc.us.com/listen/GLC Radio. GLC Radio, your free connection to GLC anywhere, anytime.
Well, welcome to the special weekend edition. Special because...
It's Shabbat!
Yeah. Okay, where are we going, ladies?
Honestly, I wasn't sure I was going to make it through the afternoon because come Shabbat, all I want to do is like put my head on a pillow and I am ready for that. First things first, Jerry over in the bookstore has told me to tell everybody our calendars are in for the new year that starts in September.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
$14, huh?
Actually, it doesn't. It actually officially starts in October.
Does it?
Yes. Bereshit kicks off October 9th.
Okay.
The evening of October 9th. So, call and get your calendars. She got quite a few, but I will tell you. Hey, Dean, I hear you were in the bookstore. We had one of our partners come in from New Mexico. He bought 40 of the calendars.
Really?
Yes. So they'll go fast at that rate, right? Okay. So anyway.
You might have to contact Dean to get one.
Yeah. And he might triple the price. I doubt it. I know the guy, and I really doubt if he would do that.
Sorry, I missed you, Dean.
Yeah, me too.
Would love to have said hello.
Everybody's like, ah. Okay, so it is Friday, so we have the weekend lineup as well.
Uh-huh.
So let's get to that. Doron Kedar and John Anderson. That was a great program.
Yes, it was.
You can see that tonight at 8 p.m., Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., and Monday as you're getting ready to go back to work at 7 a.m. Great program.
Let me give you one plug on that it really caught me. They explained why the Muslims are fighting each other over the Temple Mount.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be sure you listen.
All right, and then we have, we all go, Yohanan Salamanca. We haven't seen him in almost a year now.
I know.
That will be airing at Saturday 1 a.m., Saturday 8 p.m. That's the best time slot, and Sunday morning for you early risers at 5 a.m.
Okay.
And, okay, this is a two-part program here. Paul Kessler is a Holocaust survivor, and he's the first hour. Gary and Carolyn Bird are the second hour, and that was their last report the last time they were here, just a couple of months ago when they were in the studio recording. That will be airing Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m. and Monday way early at 1 a.m. And then Rabbi Derek Lehman. This was a really great program. I need to watch more of it.
I do, too.
This is the first time we've re-aired this, and this was recorded back in 2012. That will be airing Saturday at 5 a.m., Sunday at 1 a.m., Sunday night at 8 p.m., and Monday afternoon at 2 p.m.
He is a sharp young man.
Normally, we have his books in the bookstore, and we're out of them right now, which we can get them.
How
So
special.
call Jerry and tell her, get these ordered because I want one of these books. They're good books. That's why we're out of them.
That's right.
So Jerry's probably ready to wring my neck over that
Probably.
one, but it happens. Do you have any letters?
I got 2 letters. First one says, thanks for doing your good works. We've never gone to a church. Our Bible shows Jesus going to the people, and all got healed, and many got saved. Bless all of you, Joan and Tom from Hauser, Idaho. Wow.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Thank you for writing.
You know,
Thank you for partnering.
that's one of the reasons that GLC is so important, because there's the majority of the people don't want to have anything to do with church. People
right.
that are out in the world. But you know what? The church has got a pretty bad rap because of the hypocrites filling the pews.
Well, and the false gospel.
And the false gospel. That's right. There, I don't know. But, we all know hypocrites.
Yeah.
So this
We've
is not
all
like...
been hypocrites at one time or another.
Huh? We've
all
all been
hypocrites.
Yes, in one way or another, we have been.
Yeah.
And probably
I
still
am
are and don't even realize it.
Okay.
And then
excellent.
another one from another precious partner.
I don't know how I got a Facebook that says from Facebooks. I started watching GLC back in the late 1990s and have thanked the Lord ever since. What I love about these folks is their support of Israel. It is real. Their courage to step out and away from replacement theology is truly something to admire. Truly a shining light in a world growing darker by the day. I come from John in Odessa. Thank you, John.
Now, see, how Facebook works is that our Mason monitors Facebook, and he saw that message, and he wanted us to see it.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm going to put in a plug for Facebook. I don't have time for Facebook personally, but most people do who lead normal lives where they are on social media. But what John did by posting that is reaching out to other people by social media, telling them about us. So it's really important when you're doing that.
Right.
So remember, not everybody knows about GLC, so it's really important when you're on social media to do whatever gets done to plug GLC.
I got another letter today from one of the people who wrote to the cable companies thanking them for us. It seems as Amarillo is leading the flock on telling Suddenlink up there they love us. Thank you, Amarillo.
That's
Wow,
great.
That is
Maybe
great.
some of you others love us too. Can write to cable companies.
Well, I have.
It's just like when you walked in today and said, AT&T bought out DirecTV, and they're going to make DirecTV the wireless thing of the world. Watch it.
So it's really important that you be writing and letting them
That's right.
know
Yep.
things they are changing behind the scenes all the time.
Yep.
They. Can't keep up with them. Well, my devotional today is called "The Fires Are Burning." 2 Corinthians 7:1 says, "Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." Throughout California and Oregon, forest fires are burning out of control in this brutal August heat. To give you some perspective, the U.S. Forest Service is spending $100 million a week to fight the fires. Yet, even as these raging fires consume the forest, something is quietly going on to prepare their very renewal. You see, there's an unusual species of evergreen called the lodgepole pine that grows in great numbers throughout Northwest America, especially in Yellowstone Park. A fascinating aspect of this pine is the uniqueness of its cones. Lodgepole pine cones may stay on the tree for years before they fall off, and even when they do fall, they will not open to release their seed unless they're in the presence of intense heat. What could explain this remarkable ecological foresight? God, having designed nature, even in its fallen condition, which includes devastating forest fires, have providentially prepared for their subsequent renewal by designing a pine tree whose reproduction requires the agent of its own destruction, fire. So, even as trees, wildlife, and all living things are being destroyed in a forest blaze, the seeds of renewal are also being released for the resurrection of the forest life.
Wow.
Because, of course, since their seeds are actually released by the fire, the lodgestone pines are the first to grow in an area that's been burned. In each of our own lives, there are areas that need to be, or are already being, burned up, consumed by the refining fire of God's Holy Spirit. Yet God has also provided for a renewal in us, a seed of something brand new, which can only be birthed by intense heat. This new seed, however, however it manifests in our lives, represents the resurrection life of Christ, which emerges in the presence of His purifying fire. So the lodgepole pine is a picture for us of resurrection and hope in the midst of fiery trials. Let's endure our fiery trials with great hope, allowing Him to consume everything in us which does not serve His glory. With so much work to be done, we must not despise the cleansing process, even if it means a lot of heat.
That's
Wow.
very interesting.
Yes.
Isn't it?
And while we're talking about the fires, I'm going to remind everybody that you really need to be praying for the people, the animals that are not surviving the forest fire. What a wicked way to die.
Oh, yeah.
But, we've lost some firemen.
Yes, we sure have.
And so that's my prayer, Lord, don't let anyone else die in this,
Yes.
And we've actually sent military because it's so bad, and the thousands upon thousands of acres that are being consumed. So pray for their safety, pray for rain.
Yes.
Okay, so our first article comes from Breaking Israel News. 4 rockets shot into northern Israel Thursday afternoon are a small taste of impending Iranian terror on the Jewish state, the IDF said. The rockets, which were shot from Syria into the northern Galilee and Golan Heights region, sparked fires but caused no injuries.
The army revealed that the Palestinian terror group Islamic Jihad were responsible for the rocket fire, saying the attack was backed with Iranian money and intention. We consider Syria to be responsible for the fire, and it will also suffer the results, the IDF said in a statement, adding, the attack is a flagrant violation of the sovereignty of the State of Israel.
Rocket sirens sounded across Israel's north at approximately 5:45 p.m. The IDF confirmed the strikes. 2 of the rockets exploded near a kibbutz in the Hula Valley, located in the Upper Galilee. Following the attack, reports of Israeli shelling on Syria targets were reported by Israel's Army radio. The IDF confirmed it had attacked 14 targets belonging to the Syrian regime.
Islamic Jihad terrorists had issued threats earlier in the week that they would attack Israel over the fate of jailed fellow terrorist Mohammed Al-An, who ended a hunger strike on Thursday over his imprisonment. The IDF deployed Iron Dome anti-missile defense batteries across the southern region in Ashdod and Beersheba in response to the threats.
Okay.
Bad.
And now from Fox News. Despite a ban on arms shipments to Iran under international sanctions, Russia appears willing to proceed with the sale of advanced S-300 surface-to-air missiles to the country in a development triggering objections from the Obama administration. We have long expressed our concerns over reports of the possible sale of this missile system to the Iranians, Pentagon spokesman Captain Jeff Davis told Fox News.
Russia, along with the U.S. and others, was a party to the recently struck Iran nuclear agreement, which keeps the arms embargo in place for 5 more years. A State Department official told Fox News this specific S-300 missile system is not technically prohibited under United Nations sanctions or the nuclear deal, but the department does not want the sale to proceed. Reuters first reported that Iran plans to sign the contract for 4 of the S-300 Russian missiles as soon as next week. The text of the contract is ready, and our friends will go to Russia next week to sign the contract, Iran Defense Minister Hussein Degan reportedly said.
When asked to characterize the capability of Russia's S-300 air defense system, a U.S. defense official with knowledge of Russia's weapons systems told Fox News, this is a very capable weapons system that can bring down U.S. or Israeli jet aircraft.
The announcement comes at a time when Russia and Iran appear to have grown their diplomatic and military ties in the weeks following the comprehensive nuclear accord struck July 14th in Vienna.
While Fox News first reported a clandestine visit by Iran's shadowy Quds Force commander Major General Qassem Soleimani on July 24th, just 10 days following the nuclear agreement, Senior military officers and U.S. lawmakers hold Soleimani and his proxy forces responsible for the deaths of hundreds of American soldiers in Iraq.
The Quds Force is the Special Operations Wing of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, responsible for supporting terrorist groups and proxy forces in Lebanon, Yemen, and Iraq. Like Russia, it supports the Syrian regime of President Bashar Assad. According to local reports, Russia also delivered 6 MiG-31 fighter jets to Syria on Sunday. Soleimani's visit to Russia involved meetings with Russian President Vladimir Putin and his defense minister, and appears to have knocked off a series of other bilateral engagements between Iran and Russia.
Last week, Russia and Iran held joint naval exercises in the Caspian Sea, which separates the two countries. On Monday, August 17th, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov hosted his Iranian counterpart, Foreign Minister Javad Zarif, who was Iran's point man in the nuclear negotiations. We're confident that the Vienna Agreement will have an enormous impact on developing ties between our two countries, Zarif said in Moscow on Monday, according to Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.
A last-minute provision added to the comprehensive nuclear agreement in Vienna prohibits the sale of arms for 5 more years with Iran. Page 7 of the White House fact sheet explaining the comprehensive July 14 nuclear agreement between Iran and 6 world powers reads this: while some of our P5 partners wanted these restrictions lifted immediately, we pushed back and were successful in keeping them for 5 and 8 more years, or until the IAEA reaches its broader conclusion. Russia is among the P5 partners. So much for paying attention.
Well, you know, let's not forget that we really need to be praying for the people in Syria. You know, that civil war has now been going on, what, 4 years,
At
4.5
least
years, something like that. And especially be praying for the Christians. You're not hearing about it in mainstream media.
No, you're not.
But they are being horribly, horribly targeted, persecuted, and exterminated by the Islamic State. And Bashar Assad, President Bashar Assad of Syria, has been fighting the Islamic State, as well as the rebels for all of this time. So he has his hands quite full, and it's amazing to me that he had a relatively peaceful country where Christians seem to live in peace prior to the rebels rearing their heads. And yet another vacuum, and here comes the Islamic State.
That was pretty true all over the Middle East until Islamic State started its crusade.
All right, this next one comes from Arut Sheva, a leading commander in Iran's Revolutionary Guards, has claimed his country's ultimate aim is to turn the United States into an Islamic republic, and rejected any possibility of a thawing in relations between Tehran and the Great Satan. That would be us. An undated video released by the People's Mojahedin Organization of Iran, an Iranian opposition group, shows Commander Hassan Abbasi, who is also a member of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's inner circle, making the comments during an address in which he lashed out at unnamed Iranian officials for expressing hope that a nuclear deal with the U.S. could open the door for wider ties.
Abbasi, a fierce Khomeini loyalist, insisted that any deal with America would be limited purely to Tehran's nuclear program. The Supreme Leader's position has always been negotiation just on the nuclear issue, he said. Some people during their speeches have said that those who say we are only negotiating for nuclear energy are wrong. We're aiming to solve all the problems of the world. No, sir, this is not your jurisdiction to solve all the problems through negotiations. The country has a Supreme Leader and a Constitution, and the limits have been defined, he goes on to say. War and peace in the Constitution is the leader's responsibility. The Parliament has defined the policies. You have been told from the start of the negotiations to remain within your boundaries.
Abbasi went on to attack the U.S., noting the position of Iran's leadership remains one of perpetual hostility towards America and opposition to its most fundamental values. What do you want to solve with America? If you are referring to the Imam's comments, Imam said America is the great Satan, he declared, referring to comments by the Islamic Republic's first supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, who led the Islamic Revolution. Has the satanic nature of America been resolved? He asked rhetorically. Imam said America is naturally a terrorist state. Is the U.S. no longer a terrorist state? Imam said America is the mother of all corruptions. Is America no longer the mother of all corruptions?
Abbasi then referred to comments made by Khomeini in which he explicitly stated that the talks with world powers were limited to the nuclear issue. Considering that our interests are opposite to that of the U.S. in the region, our relationship to the U.S. is only limited to the nuclear issue. Although the precise comments in question are unclear, Khomeini did state as much to Iranian diplomats back in August 2014. But Abbasi also references the fact sheet of the framework deal, which was only signed in April 2015, possibly indicating the updated recording is more recent.
Abbasi continued, just as we defeated the United States policies in Syria and Lebanon and Iraq and Yemen in the Middle East, we will not rest until we make the United States an Islamic Republic too. Opposition released a clip in which Revolutionary Guard commander vows, regardless of the nuclear deal, hostility with the U.S. will continue. You know, I was watching Fox News last night, and I believe it was Governor Mike Huckabee who was talking about the people of Iran. And he reminded everyone that when 9/11 happened, throughout the Middle East, all the Muslim countries were celebrating at the destruction of the Twin Towers and
Pentagon.
And the Pentagon and all the deaths that happened, but not the people of Iran. They were holding candles.
Really?
And there was, and this didn't make a whole lot of media, but you did see things, because the people of Iran were trying to take control of the country. And the leaders came down with an
iron fist.
An iron fist. And we saw a lot of people dying in the streets because of it. You know, do you remember that?
Nope.
It wasn't that long ago. And so we really need to be praying for the people of Iran.
Yes.
And I think that that's why the people that they're holding captive, the Christians that they're holding captive, and they will not release them no matter what, so they say, they're a horrible threat to the leaders. That's why they're not going to let them go.
There is a tremendous revival in Iran.
There has been a tremendous revival in Iran. You know what? Mani Irfan
That's right.
is a really good spokesman for that.
Yes, he is.
And anyway, I hope you're watching his program. He's got a great program. Okay, this next article comes from the Times of Israel, and the Associated Press contributed to the report. Banking on the nuclear deal it signed recently with Western powers, Iran is seeking to resume direct flights to and from the United States, ending a 3-decade moratorium, the Tehran's aviation authority said. Tehran's aviation chief says removal of sanctions under the nuclear deal will also enable eased travel to European capitals. Iran's aviation fleet is equipped with long-range planes that can make direct flights to the U.S. without having to stop and refuel anywhere. Mohammad Khodakarami, who heads Iran's civil aviation organization, was quoted as saying in a report Tuesday in the semi-official press TV news site. Once the authorizations to do so are issued, CAO will start following up the other aspects involved in this issue, he said.
The announcement is the latest sign of a thaw between the West and Iran after decades of strained ties following the Islamic Revolution in 1979. While hardliners, including Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, have continued to make fiery anti-American statements, Western officials have signaled a growing openness to resume long-frozen commercial ties with the country in the wake of the nuclear deal clinched earlier this month.
Tehran has also been examining options for boosting the number of flights to other Western countries, among them Italy, Russia, Turkey, France, and Germany, the official Tasnim agency reported Saturday, quoting Kota Karami. He said that a delegation of French officials was slated to travel to Iran to discuss the issue. The current 2 weekly flights on the Paris-Tehran route would be raised to 10, he added. Before direct flights between Iran and the U.S. can be resumed, the American Congress has to ratify the deal, which faces stiff opposition from Republican lawmakers as well as some Democrats. Congress has 60 days to review the agreement reached between Iran, the U.S., and 5 other world powers on July 14th that seeks to curb the Islamic Republic's nuclear program in exchange for wide-ranging economic sanctions relief.
European business people have been eager to resume business with the Islamic Republic, which holds plenty of economic promise. The country of 80 million people generates a $400 billion economy, boasts the world's 4th largest oil reserves, the 2nd biggest stores of natural gas, and has well-established manufacturing and agricultural industries. So it's okay if they have a nuclear bomb. If we can do business with them, we can make money.
Okay, another article from the News Corps Australian Network. Ukrainian government forces have been fighting pro-Russian separatists since an uprising in April last year, shortly after disguised Russian forces seized control of Crimea.
While Moscow denies providing direct support for the separatists, there's considerable evidence of Russian military equipment and personnel fighting in the disputed territories. So far, the conflict has claimed more than 7,000 lives.
While a truce was signed in February, fighting has escalated significantly in recent weeks. Ukraine has expressed fears a fresh major offensive may soon be launched against its territories. Russia has not taken kindly to the West's response to its ambitions.
The U.S. declared earlier this year it will be forward deploying 1,200 pieces of military equipment, including 250 tanks, into Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, and the Baltic states, along with 5,000 troops to counter Russian aggression. In retaliation, Moscow has threatened to mass more tanks and troops on its own borders. It says short-range ballistic missiles will now be based in Kaliningrad, putting Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia within their reach. Let's not go there.
This final one comes from the Independent. Military authorities in Ukraine believe the number of Russian troops within and close to its border has risen to more than 50,000, raising fears of a substantial escalation in the conflict raging in Ukraine's eastern regions. Almost 9,000 Russian Federation Armed Forces personnel are believed to be based inside Ukraine, according to reports from the country's National Security and Defense Council, seen by The Independent on Sunday. The rest are based in the neighboring Rostov region of Russia, including merchandised assault units and communications command systems. This is in addition to 33,400 so-called illegal armed formations of Russian-backed separatist soldiers inside eastern Ukraine, with 400 main battle tanks and close to 2,000 armored troop carriers reported to be at full combat readiness.
Well, thank you, ladies, because you didn't hear that anywhere else.
Well,
Jesus said there will be wars and rumors of wars.
yet the end is not near.
That's
the
right.
end is not here.
That's
so
right.
we are to
Pray and occupy.
pray, occupy, act like he's not coming, or act like he's coming back tomorrow, but behave like he's not. In
Or the
what
other
we're
way.
doing. In what we're doing. So we love you.
Shabbat shalom.
We'll see you next
We love you.
Monday. Have a great weekend.